This is part two. Um, watch part one. Watch part one. This is gonna be short, but watch part one for me. I guess unless you terribly feel led to only watch this one, but part one was very good, and we're moving into something deeper than that. Okay, so let me really quickly. These in sequence. Okay, so we started with the Four of Pentacles, understanding that we're at a point of completion, understanding that we have done the work, and now we are free to receive the reward, but we're kind of in that respite of, like I was just talking about hospice care, we're kind of right in that in-between of like, we're not fully crossed over yet, where we're actually able to rest in peace. But we know that the work has been done. We know that the work has been done, and then it already speaks for itself, right? And so then in sequence, the Wheel of Fortune into the Four of Pentacles, into the Three of Swords. I mean, I kind of already did that as we moved into that, but we have taking everything that we have ever received, everything that we have experienced, the good, the bad, the ugly, the stuff that we love, the stuff that we hate, the stuff that we had forgotten, the person that we thought we would be, the person that we ended up becoming, the person that everybody hoped that we would be, that we never became, all of these things. And letting them speak on our behalf of fulfillment, of who we truly are. At the end of our days, man, that just hit me really emotionally. At the end of our days, it's not about status, it's not about appearance. I promise you, like as a hospice care nurse, my clients weren't looking forward to laying in a broken body, covered in wrinkles, unable to walk, barely able to talk, potentially shitting themselves. That wasn't necessarily how all of them had, that wouldn't be anybody's like high mind ideal of how we're going to leave, how we're going to walk out of this experience of life. But for those that are lucky, that's the way that you tend to go. It's not a big fiery crash. It's not getting stabbed in the heart. It's not, drowning and being terrified of all of these different things. It's a slow and steady walk forward into the unknown, as the life that was within you leaves you and goes and becomes part of something so much greater than you could have ever been, trapped in your own body. It's you walking out of your own body, right? So as much as these things could ever speak for you, the importance of these things was really for your life. All the riches, all the glory, all the legacy that way, that was for you just to enjoy. Enjoying being something that allows your heart to become full and to become light so that you can enjoy even more. Because the universe is just trying to experience itself through you. But we take these things, and the Wheel of Fortune, it keeps moving whether we want it to or not. We really have no say over that. The best that we can do is remain in as good of alignment as possible so that we can continue to move with it. Like I said in the first video, like it's like a car that needs all of this upkeep, but we're the car, we're the vehicle. This is the vehicle that I am using in this life to be able to move through this life. But really, life is using me as a vehicle to move through itself. just to see itself on the other side. And so there's an upkeep that I require. There's a care that I require. There's oils, that I require, lubes. I was going to say lubes. It sounds weird when I say that way. Fuel, working parts that I require in order to be able to do this work. The work that life is doing through me. In order to be that vehicle that life has to be able to move through itself, into itself. There's specific things that my life requires of me, in order to be able to continue along its path, right? But we take all of those things and we move them into a place of peace. We move them into a place of being able to be comforted that the task is done. It's done. You won the race. You finished. You completed the race. You realize at this point that it wasn't about trying to beat anyone else to the finish line. It was just about doing it. Just doing it. And now it's done. Now you've done it. And that's a balance of all things. There were times that we needed fire, times that we needed water, times that we needed air, times that we needed earth. But ultimately, it's all of those things put together that speak on the beauty of what our life has become and what our life ultimately is. And it was all of these things together that moved in different directions in order to bring us into balance with ourselves and to our truest selves. And it's within our capacity to embrace that and then to use it for the greatest good. That's a choice. It's a choice to be in sorrow. We have the Lord of the forces of life, the Lord of earthly power, and the Lord of sorrow. These are all, the forces of life are outside of our control. Earthly power is something that we receive by remaining in alignment with the forces of life. Sorrow is inevitable. It is inevitable. It's a grand part of life. And it's the inevitability of death. But we take these things so that we can bring ourselves into balance and so that we can truly know ourselves. Because in truly knowing ourselves, the universe truly knows us. The universe truly knows itself. We can truly know everything outside of ourselves because we are innately connected to the universe. I don't know why I'm getting such strong death vibes. But I am. There's a couple things that I'm seeing here in regards to that. One, that we have these two swords that are moving in on this sword, right? And this sword being the representation of them both. Like I said, the culmination of them into our own personal power. There's two swords around the Wheel of Fortune, and they're around this pharaoh character, which is a representation of ourselves as the king of our own lives. Whoever is watching this, if there's somebody passing in your life, man, it's such a process. But see it as that, There was a time that they were this, and there was a time that they were this, and now they are this. But even then, the transition of these three this way, what I'm also receiving is seeing that, like, the flower in the middle here is being sliced into pieces here. And it's this concept that the earthly power that we thought ourselves to have by the wheel of fortune and by the forces of life, this earthly power that we had claimed is done away with. This is the end for all of us. This is what it looks like. But it's a beautiful thing, because that end is being done away with by our own power. And it's this realization of our power and this integration of our power. And maybe I'm talking about nuclear war, but it's only the end of the world. We have the black hole sun, which is a symbol of the end of time and the end of all things. The swallowing of existence up into a black hole. But it's also the creator of all things. It is the destroyer and the creator. Everything is reduced to carbon, and then all of that carbon moves through the black hole and is recreated back into everything else. And the cycle starts all over again. This is very depictive of these things moving back and forth in that direction. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. That's the worst. As a hospice care nurse, that's always like the one thing. I don't ever want my clients to be afraid going into that unknown. The best that I mean, if I'm going to be sitting right beside you while you die, I'm not going to let you be afraid. I'm not going to let you feel alone. We all die alone. Because we all die within our own selves, right? It doesn't matter if somebody's holding your hand, it's still your death that you have to receive. But it's nice to know that it's being seen, that it's being felt, you know. That there's something good that comes after that. It's really what people want to know. And as a hospice care nurse, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a savior, I'm a friend. You know, I can't promise people what eternal life does or doesn't look like, or if it even exists. But I can ease someone through the process of inevitability in a way that leaves them at peace. And that's all that there is. That's all that there can be at that time. Because again, in those very last moments, it doesn't really matter who you were praying to. Only where your heart was in those prayers and the intents behind them. It doesn't really matter who you married, what you named your kids, if you left that job or stayed, if you paid those bills or not. What matters is that you know yourself and that you love yourself enough to be able to hold your own hand while you walk into that unknown. Because like I said, even if I'm sitting there holding your hand, you're still having to process that on your own. It is still something that you do yourself. It's so important that we know ourselves and that we come into a comfort with ourselves. In that space of the unknown with ourselves. That's the importance of being able to sit and meditate even now in life. Because you sit with uncertainty. I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm feeling this way. Where are all these thoughts coming from? This feels so silly, just to sit here in silence with myself, doing nothing. It's so important. It's so important because at the end of our lives, that's all there is. It's sitting alone with ourselves like God in heaven before anything else was created, sitting alone with ourselves in the core of our person. I don't know exactly who this message is for. I know anytime I give really passionate messages like this, they really resonate with me, but I also feel that that passion is the universe speaking through me for the sake of somebody else. And maybe I'm speaking to one person, maybe I'm speaking to a multitude. But regardless, I do hope that you take the time to sit with yourself in your own healing, and that this is healing. The universe will always heal itself. I can assure you of that. There's nothing that we could do so bad to fuck everything up. You don't have to be afraid. Don't give power to fear. Don't give power to fear. Give power to peace. Give yourself that power. Don't be embarrassed to sit by yourself and feel some type of way. Don't be embarrassed to cry. Obviously, I'm not going to just sit here and weep at you. I would, if that's what you needed. I'll weep with you. But don't give power to fear. Two cards came out, one face up and one face down. I haven't looked at them yet. I pulled for a third card, and nothing came out. And I'm feeling to go with these, but I'm trying to figure out exactly where in the reading they fit. Like this. Okay. So like this. Okay. We have head, dream, in the reverse. Such a beautiful card. I haven't seen this before in this deck. The flowers on this palm are like tattoos. But this butterfly is very real. And it's giving me this sense in dream of like waking up from the dream. Right? It feels like this whole reading is giving me giant death vibes. So sorry, but that's what we're talking about. You know, we have this life tattooed on us, this image of life. In our receiving hand, and it feels so real. It's beautiful. And there's so much to enjoy about it and to appreciate for it. And I'm sure that it hurt getting a tattoo on your palm, right? There were real feelings there. And there's really something to look at afterwards and to really appreciate. And there's a beauty there. But it's just an image. What's real is the transformation. What's real is a life beyond this illusion. And it's a beautiful illusion. It's a beautiful image to receive. But that's all that it is. It dies with us. It doesn't go on. This butterfly is something completely separate. This butterfly moves into real flowers, into a real reality. But we all share these similar, it's the same flowers on the butterfly as on the hand, as behind the hand in the actual garden. We all share these different qualities. Images. It's a dream, but it's in the reverse. Because we're waking from the dream. The card that comes out after that is Concerns in the upright. We have the stars here surrounding this sword with Saturn. There's a moon right here on the handle of the sword, matching the stars behind it. For a second I thought it was the moon, but it's not. It's an illusion of the moon. It's just an image of the moon. The stars are out. Saturn is out. Saturn, the symbol of death. But the sun is actually out too. It's just that it's setting. As the sun sets on this day, we feel concern. I mean, you're taking a knife in the palm. It's not unreasonable to feel some sense of concern. It's obviously affected us. With the moon in this handle, it's looking like this sword as well. Right here in the middle with the 2 crescent moons on it. The same flowers even that were in this dream card. But the dream is being cut away. And the reality is our intuition and our perspective. And the reality is what hits. It's not that you can't remain positive, and I'm not trying to create delusional illusions of positivity and peace. I know when reality hits, it hurts. But that pain transforms us. That pain is part of this. Just remember, seed, that you must die to become a tree. It's part of it. It doesn't matter if we want to embrace it or not. We are being forced to. But like I said, it's a reminder then that the best thing that we can do is take all of those things and to let them speak a truth of us into us. To let the reality of who we are guide us. So emotional. Give me one more card. Apollo in the reverse. Is Apollo a messenger? I forget. I looked this up the other day. He has a harp. Okay, that is not helpful. Hold on, sorry. The Greek and Roman god of music, poetry, prophecy, healing, and the sun, he He was the son of Leto and the twin brother of Artemis. Apollo was also associated with law, philosophy, and manly beauty. In the reverse. I don't know what the future holds, but as this sun sets, and as this cycle comes to a close, we must rest assured in who we are, in everything that we've done, and embrace those things. All of those things as part of us. All of those things that have added to these little tiny strokes and pieces, all these little things that have added to this giant picture, this grand picture of who we are. All of us being individual strokes that add to the grander picture of who we are as humans in this time and space. And then we look at this image. We find the beauty in it. And then we embrace the transformation. The transformation, here's the cycle completing. Here's the transformation being done away with. As we embrace reality. The reality is that these things are coming to an end. The wheel is turning. And for this time, these things speak for themselves. It's a new world and a new path. I can't say what it's going to be on the other side, except that it's going to be better. That much I know and that much I trust. That it's better and it's beyond our imagination at this time. I really was just expecting this to be quite short, but it got really deep. Again, I don't know who this was for. If it's resonated with you, bless you. You are blessed. Embrace that. Be strong. Be soft. Be strong enough to move forward, soft enough to receive what it is that the universe is handing to you. Soft enough to see the beauty in it, strong enough to endure it. I know that reality is hard. And I know that death is imminent. At some point in time, it's inevitable. But that does not have to be such a hard thing. And the importance of it truly is just the culmination of who we truly are. It's painting that picture and then looking at it at the end and saying, yeah, I'm done. Signing your name. It's a beautiful thing. Our lives are a beautiful thing, the legacy of which will speak for itself. Give yourself time. Give yourself space to know yourself, to be comfortable with yourself, to hold your own hand. Yeah. This was a wild read, but I appreciate you being here for it. Those that it was meant for, and I really do hope that it blesses you and that it helps move you into a space of true security within yourself, and that if you have someone close to you that's passing and that's what this energy is coming from, that you're able to give them that sense of security that they need. It's not easy being a hospice care nurse. It's not easy doing any sort of hospice. But it is part of life. And it's something I think that we would all benefit from being able to embrace to some degree. Because death does come for us all at some point in time. You know? It's the one experience we all share outside of birth. The two most traumatic experiences that you could possibly imagine: being born and then dying. Those are the two experiences that we can know and rest assured that we all share. And so we're not so different. Our lives have been different, and that's what makes it so beautiful. The way we feel about those things, the way we've responded to those things. But all of us are just reflections of each other. All of us are just figments of the imagination of God as He considers Himself in every different aspect. You know, we're all just the universe knowing itself, experiencing itself, driving itself home. Be kind to yourself today. Give yourself some extra love and stay positive. Don't give any place to fear. Give place to love instead. If you have the power to be afraid and to give power to fear, you have the power to love and give power to love. Make that choice. Make that choice to be at peace with everything just as it is, with the uncertainty of tomorrow. Because tomorrow is quite uncertain. But right now, in this moment, you are certain because you're here. You're right here. So I know that you're certain. And you can be certain in yourself, and you can give yourself love. And if that's all that you have to give, what a blessing. All right. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next video.